Hey there, you with the stars in your eyes. My name is Kiris, and this week in astrology, we have Mercury going home to Gemini. We have the new moon in Gemini, and also the sun and moon in Gemini making a conjunction to Mercury in Gemini. Starcasting to you from the City of Angels. Welcome, hello, thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. This is your astrology cosmic superpower for the week beginning Sunday, May 25th through Saturday, May 31st, 2025. Let's journey together with astrology and explore how to connect with the stars, the planets, the energies for our new week ahead. Sunday, the Sun's Day, May 25th, find a great teacher, class, workshop. A great teacher can elevate you to a whole new level of possibilities in your field. A bad teacher can also do some serious damage. We've got Mercury going home to its domicile, its home placement, its castle of Gemini. Mercury will be in Gemini for about 2 weeks. Mercury is moving very fast. Mercury is Quicksilver. And Mercury, the messenger, is moving faster than the speed of light in its own home sign. Now, when Mercury, which is about learning, books, knowledge, going to school, when Mercury is in its domicile, its home sign, that is the best placement, the most effective placement for Mercury to be. Not the exaltation, the home sign, the domicile. Mercury at home has all the resources, everything that Mercury needs to get the job done, to do what it is supposed to do, which is to absorb new knowledge, learn something new, teach, speak, write. So find that class that you've been looking for. You've got a nice window of time here, about 2 weeks with Mercury at home, to have everything that you need to go to the next level in the area of education that you are looking for. The planet Mercury is the traveler and flies through the air very lightly, especially when it's in its home sign of Gemini. Mercury, Gemini, forever youthful, because they don't hang on to the past. They let things go. Anything that weighs down Mercury in Gemini is released, like the weight of the past. Mercury in Gemini is anxious to get to the future where the message is delivered very clearly, very precisely, very effectively. One of the many reasons why Mercury functions at its best in its home sign is because Mercury at its best in Gemini is open-minded. So being open to receive the new information, the new knowledge, is a big component to this Mercury in Gemini in finding the great class teacher workshop for you. You're open-minded to add in and receive new knowledge that is necessary. When we want to learn something new and or when we try to teach someone something new, if the student has already decided that they know, then that's not open-minded. That is not Mercury at its best placement when someone is having a block to learning new things. This is not Mercury at home in Gemini. Mercury in Gemini is just, give me all the information that you have. I will at least consider it and take it in. Mercury also rules over youth, young people, students. So no matter what the age, Mercury at home in Gemini is that not only open-mindedness, but being excited to learn new things, like you're hearing it and seeing it for the first time. This is this youth, young quality about Mercury and Mercury at home in Gemini. Mercury and Gemini rule over the daily news, the daily information. Mercury at home in Gemini is not bored. So if you've been having that feeling of, it's the same old, the same old story, that's also what Mercury and Gemini rules over, the stories. If you've been feeling bored or just dull in the sense of you're tired of listening to the same old story, then the beauty of Mercury in Gemini is no matter what your chronological age, when you come from the perspective of Mercury at home in Gemini, the way to feel excited, young about things and about life is take a class, learn something new. Superb time cosmically with Mercury at home in Gemini. Learn something new. It's fun, it's exciting, and it's that feeling of youth and excitement. Where is Mercury in Gemini spending the next 2 weeks in your personal astrology chart? This will give you a major clue as far as what type of new class you would love to learn about. If you have Mercury in Gemini transiting through your first house, this is a beautiful springtime makeover. New clothes, new hair, new style, new presentation, new makeup, all of it. It's fresh and new, and Mercury in its domicile greatly supports effectively you doing a new image makeover. Mercury in Gemini through your second house. This is finding the coach, the teacher that helps to bring out your innate gifts and talents. The second house in your astrology chart, these are the gifts that you were born with. And there is nothing like a great teacher that supports that and brings it out, and it helps you to express that. Mercury in Gemini through your third house. Have you always been talking about writing a book, wanting to tell a story? Well, Mercury in Gemini through its house in the natural astrological wheel, it doesn't get better than that. To sit down, take the time, and start writing your book, your story. My clients that are writers will always say to me that the toughest hurdle to jump is to just make it a habit to sit down and write every day. Even if it's for a few minutes, a few hours, establishing that habit with Mercury and Gemini through the third house that you're going to sit down and write every day. Once you unblock that block, then you're on your way. The Mercury at home in Gemini is greatly supportive of doing this. Mercury through the fourth house in your astrology chart. This is changing things up, removing the clutter in your home space. Because the fourth house also is connected to real estate, if you've always wanted to learn and do something with real estate, the land, anything having to do with home and family, this is Mercury through the fourth. Mercury in Gemini through the fifth house. This is the creativity just overall. The fifth house has to do with entertainment, music, art, acting, all of it. It is that creative house where you plug into, you connect to your originality. The fifth house is the Leo house in the natural wheel, that stage of development when a young adult wants to establish who they are uniquely as an original. Mercury in Gemini through the fifth house is get creative. If you don't know what you're creative about specifically, just let it come up and happen organically. Be inspired by the process of creativity itself. Mercury, the messenger, will give you the messages as far as what it is that you would love to create. Mercury in Gemini through the sixth house is removing all of the slings and arrows, the daily problems that can weigh you down. The sixth house in astrology is the house of ill health. It's the house of slings and arrows. This Mercury in Gemini helps you to sort through and clear away the unnecessary things that are weighing you down, creating problems where there doesn't have to be so many problems. Beautiful cycle here to open up the windows of fresh air. Mercury in Gemini, clear out the clutter, meaning to clear away the problems and to clear away the clutter as far as how it is affecting your physical, emotional health. Mercury in Gemini through the sixth is helping you out to get healthy again so that you can feel lighter, youthful, fresher, and youthful. It's not a chronological age. It's an attitude. It's a feeling. It's a mindset of feeling young at heart. I love to see the videos of legendary comedian Dick Van Dyke dancing with his wife at 100 years old. He's happy and young at heart forever. Mercury in Gemini through the seventh house of relationship and marriage. This is trying something new, doing different things in your marriage, your relationship. Also, if you're single, this is the time with Mercury supporting you in the seventh house of marriage to put yourself out there, to try again in love, no matter how you've been burned in the past. The Mercury in Gemini says yes. Let's say yes to finding the right love, the right relationship where both of you are just having a beautiful love affair forever. Mercury in Gemini through the eighth house is clearing away the debt, doing everything you can with Mercury supporting you to clear away past financial obligations. There is nothing that weighs us down and can worry us like having unpaid debt. Mercury in Gemini is all about the future, not the past, and feeling very light and carefree. And when we are debt free, we feel free. Mercury in Gemini through the 9th house. This is the house of higher learning, university, higher levels of knowledge and information, going back to school, something you've always wanted to learn about but got busy with work and life. Mercury in the 9th house greatly supports this. Also, Mercury, the traveler, plan that trip. If you've put off your dream trip for whatever reason, it is time to go on a new adventure and have so much fun doing it with Mercury through the 9th house. Mercury in Gemini through the 10th house is freeing yourself from a career, from a job that is just making you feel so restricted, so stuck. So whether you leave the career that you've been holding on to for years, and or if you finally ask for a different department, a different area in the same company, then this Mercury in Gemini helps you out as far as getting out of the trap of doing the same old thing for years, and you just feel like you've got to try something new, especially in the area of career when it comes to communication. Because Mercury in Gemini, it has to communicate. It's an air sign. So if you're feeling stifled in the sense that your ideas, your concepts are never considered and heard in the area of career, Mercury in Gemini helps you to change this and do the things necessary so that you can go to the highest potential. This is the 10th house, the summit, the peak in your chart, where you feel you are being heard and that you are free to communicate. Mercury in Gemini traveling through the 11th house. This is you getting involved with groups, charities, philanthropic causes that brings people together and helps to make the world a more beautiful, healthy place. Mercury in Gemini loves people and loves to socialize and meet all different kinds of people from all walks of life. Mercury in Gemini is very sophisticated. It's very smooth, and having an arena where you can express your gifts and talents, whether it's event planning, charity causes, just people together with the mindset, a very positive mindset of moving into the future. Mercury in Gemini, not staying stuck in the past, is Mercury in Gemini through the 11th house. Mercury in Gemini through the 12th house. Now this is a fun one, because if you've never explored and considered past lives, hypnosis, spirituality, there's just so much to learn. It is endless that this Mercury, which is the alchemist, the master magician, transiting through the 12th house, you may for the first time perhaps consider taking a class or a workshop that does delve into the ideas of different realms of spirituality. The 12th house is deep, and so Mercury, which loves to explore and learn new things, think of something perhaps that you've always been fascinated with. Past lives perhaps, I'm just throwing that out there, could be many different things, but think of something that you've always been fascinated by it as far as the different realms of the mind and spirituality. This is Mercury through the 12th. Mercury in Gemini through the 12th house wants to investigate. Mercury is curious in Gemini. So something that may sound a little bit spooky, yet exciting. This is Mercury traveling through the 12th house of what is hidden and mysterious. Monday, the moon's day, May 26th. Keep a diary, become a scribe. We have the new moon in Gemini at 6 degrees. The moon is what we care about. The moon has to do with our memories, things from the past. Gemini is the writer. When something is important to us, we write it down. We mark it. We paint a picture. Just like the cave paintings in France that are 40,000 years old. The pyramids of Egypt. Again, when something is important that we want to leave for the future, we're trying to impart knowledge and say this was important. The Mercury with this new moon in Gemini is be a documentarian. Just think what it's like if you could leave something for the future where you are giving a first-hand account. And there is nothing like a first-hand account. It's not the same thing as watching it in a movie or reading a book, where you could give a first-hand account of the things and people and culture, your life, that you're giving that information because you experienced it. Let's say you had grandparents or grandparents, ancestors. If they had written a diary for you where they're telling you all of the subtle things about the time, the culture, what it was like when rock and roll first came into being, what it was like during World War II, whatever the event and culture of the time is and was. There are just so many small details that when you write a diary, when you document it, if writing is too much for you, then vlog, make a personal film, keeping a record and having a record from the person that was there at the time. It is a treasure and then some. For young people today that are around 25 years old, they don't really remember. They don't know what life was like before social media. Babies being born today, they are not going to know what life was like before AI, robots. Did you happen to see the episode of Dr. Phil where Dr. Phil brought out a rotary phone where you would dial the number and showed it to two teenagers? They didn't know how to use the phone. They picked up the receiver of the phone, but then after that, they didn't know to dial and how to use that phone. Think about this. This is just a short period of time we're talking about over the past 25, 30 years. And again, what the babies being born today will not know or remember as far as a culture and a society that for them is the far distant past. Tuesday, May 27th, Mars's Day. Be brave enough to walk away from the negotiation. We are now in new moon cycle where the moon is increasing in light and energy. The moon is in Gemini, making a sextile aspect of opportunity to Mars, very strongly placed in fixed fire Leo. The moon in Gemini is negotiating a deal. The moon in Gemini is negotiating a deal connected to something that you really want, something that you love and care about. This is the moon. With the sextile aspect of opportunity, Mars in Leo is about your value, your self-worth. And if you are not being shown, offered what you are truly worth, what your value is, this is the Mars in Leo, which is very proud, it's heart-centered, and it's willing to say no. It's brave enough to say no. If I am not getting what I am worth, meaning you, if you are not being offered your value, your worth, then that moon sextile Mars in Leo is the bravery, the willingness to say no deal. If you have to walk away from a deal because of this, then just know when you have that courage to say no deal, I'm walking away, know that the right deal where you are valued, where they know your worth, you will be in alignment with that. So this is our Tuesday, which also happens to be Mars's day with Mars in Leo. Very strong, saying, no, I'm walking away, not taking a deal, meaning you, where you are shortchanged, undercut, because you are not being valued. Wednesday, Mercury's day, May 28th, establish a personal boundary where you feel protected and safe. The moon is now at home in Cancer. The moon at home in Cancer is sensitive. It's the connection to your emotional body. The moon in Cancer brings up memories of mom, home, family. The moon in Cancer is making a square aspect to Saturn in Aries, its fall placement. On this day, you want to connect and make your inner child very happy and feeling safe, because whatever happened in the past, where your boundaries, where the adults were not responsible for appropriate boundaries and keeping you safe and protected, this moon square Saturn can bring in a somber kind of a feel about responsibilities in the past that were never yours to carry to begin with. So one of the beauties of astrology and how astrology highlights things for us is that on this Wednesday, Mercury's day, it is shining a light on pay extra careful attention to your inner child, meaning the most vulnerable, authentic part of yourself where you need to feel safe and protected. This is the moon at home in Cancer, very strong moon at home in Cancer. Its domicile, but making that hard square to Saturn in its fall in the sign of Aries. Thursday, Jupiter's day, May 29th. Speak up and win your point. We have the Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini on this day. Your mind is so aware and so clear about what you need to say with this Sun conjunct Mercury at home in Gemini. There are so many different situations in life where and how this Sun conjunct Mercury can really help you out. Let's say you've been promised a raise for a while and it hasn't happened. Sun conjunct Mercury, speak up. Let's say there is a relationship situation in your life where you've been wanting to end the relationship, but for whatever reason, you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You've been putting it off. This is the time to say it's time to end this. If you have an important meeting, if you've been working towards your PhD, anything or any situation where you have to speak smoothly, effectively, clearly, get right to the point. This is not emotional. It's cool air, mutable Gemini that can adapt and change in the moment. This is just beautiful for any situation in life where you have to speak very clearly and to the point. This is how Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini is really backing you up on Jupiter's day. Friday, Venus's day, May 30th. Get the proof. Make them put it in writing. What's happening here is that we've got the moon in Leo, and the moon in Leo is making a fire trine flow to Saturn in its fall in Aries. Now, a trine aspect is ease. It makes something easy for you. The two fire signs, moon in Leo, Saturn in Aries, this is the excitement, being caught up in the moment and saying, yes, let's go for it, very impatiently perhaps. Whatever is promised to you, however someone wants to reassure you, oh yes, I'll keep my word. Oh yes, this is going to work out. I'll be there for you. I will be responsible. I'll see it through. The moon trine Saturn in Aries, show me the proof. Get it in writing. Don't just believe and act spontaneously, impulsively, because you're feeling it in the moment. The excitement of the moment, that's the fire excitement energy, and you're all ready to go, be off and running and go. Get the proof, put it in writing on this day. This isn't just a romantic situation, although there is a very strong energy on Venus's day that it could and would be. We just had the Sun conjunct Mercury in Gemini, which is stating your case, speaking up, getting what you want, winning the point. Then on Friday, Venus's day, if you're made a lot of promises, such as this is when you will get your raise, that's lovely. Put it in writing. Get the proof. Try to remember the lessons and tests of Saturn in Aries, its fall placement on Venus's day. Well, I believed them because I liked them. They seemed like a nice person. Get the proof. Saturday, Saturn's day, May 31st. Trust that the chemistry is magic. Today we still have the moon in Leo making sextile aspects of opportunity to the sun and Mercury in Gemini. Every once in a while, from time to time, it's the right place, the right energies, the right blending of people, and the alchemical magic is there. This is one of those days. Have you ever been around someone and it just feels so good to be in their energy? It's light. You don't have to force anything. You're not trying to come up with things to say. The energy, the alchemy, the chemistry is just right. These moments do happen. Think of the Beatles. the right time, the right people, the right place, that blending of energies, and the magic happened. This happens in life, not just in the creative process, but in your life with certain people and certain blendings of energies. The planet Mercury is the alchemist, the master magician, and this is the moon where your heart is in fixed fire Leo, making these aspects of opportunity to the sun and Mercury in its domicile. If and when whatever you are doing, whoever is in your life, when you're feeling that sense of just magic afoot here, it's just the right blending of energies. And it's one of my favorite things to do in astrology, to look at compatibility and look at the charts and where that magic, that chemistry is there or not there. Because if you know what to look for in the astrology chart, it is as clear as daylight. Now, you don't have to be an astrologer to look at this or investigate this. You have your own feelings as a gauge. Think of the people or person in your life, group of friends, where the feeling is it's just easy, it's effortless. You're not struggling and trying to force an energy, a chemistry to be there when it is not. And when you, and if you have this in your life, and if you find this or feel this as we close out the week and the month of May, that is something to really be treasured. Because again, that chemistry, that alchemical blending and mixture of the right time, the right place, the right people, when it does happen, treasure it. And also, the astrology today is saying, learn how to recognize it. Learn how to be aware of it. Your gauge is how it makes you feel. Now, the big difference between today's energy of chemistry as opposed to Friday's astrology of don't rush into it, get the proof. This is one of the key components of how you know. It's not rushed. It's not an impatient feeling. It's not a feeling of, we got to do this right now. There are times when you don't even have to say, I love you to the other person. You just know. It's just there or not there. And the feeling with the alchemical magic is, we've known we've been together, that we always will be in the future, and we don't have to try to rush, force this issue. It's just there. You're feeling it. You know it in a very different way that has to do with that feeling of being centered. It can be unspoken. You just know that, yes, this is the chemistry. We're feeling it. It's there. And what a gift for us, all of us, when we get to see that in other people, whether it's a creative project, music, great friends being together, wonderful family being together. When we get to witness that chemistry, that alchemical magic, that is a gift that reaches out to the world around us. We are able to recognize that because we have it within ourselves as a vessel, a channel of energy, and the cosmic power of being able to sense and know something's up here. There's a magic in the air. And it isn't something that ever tries to force or control you. It's there or not there. Learn how to feel, see, and recognize this. If you believe and sense on this Saturday that that is happening for and with you, this is how you know. You don't have to rush. There is no rushing. It's timeless. Just be in the moment. I would never advise someone to rush into something anyway, but you don't have to rush. Just be in the moment, be present, and feel what you're feeling as far as, is this chemistry, this magic happening now? It does happen. And the astrology is sublime today for that right time, right place, right energies coming together so that the magic can be channeled physically. Just see how you feel. That's it. That's all you've got to do. Not push and rush. Have a fabulous week, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and listening to the Voice of Astrology podcast. I will see you all in the stars.